Now, from the station more people are switching to for breaking news, certified most accurate weather, and the problem solvers. This is Channel 2 Works for You Midday.
A man goes on a rampage in Tulsa, attacking women with a baseball bat. Channel 2 goes to work to help prevent crimes like that from happening to you.
A few scattered showers across green country. Find out where and when they may head in your direction. That's in our Works for You forecast.
And coming up at 11:30, just as the new school year starts for college students, a report is out concerning the events of the deadly Virginia Tech shootings.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing Channel 2 News Midday. I'm Erin Christie.
And I'm Scott Jones.
We begin with breaking news from Broken Arrow this morning. Police have made another arrest in a kidnapping plot related to the murder of Michael Dubin. Investigators say 20-year-old Crystal Pomes has been arrested for conspiracy to commit kidnapping. They say she took part in the plan to kidnap both Dubin and his girlfriend, Deborah Akins. Akins' estranged husband, 42-year-old Carl Akins, and 20-year-old William Sperry were arrested last week for their part in the alleged plot. Dubin was found in his home earlier this month. He had been shot in the head. Detectives say the three are now under arrest, plan to kidnapping the couple by posing as fugitive recovery agents. Today, investigators say Pomes purchased uniforms to make the kidnappers look legitimate. They say she also created fictitious arrest warrants for Dubin and Deborah Akins. More arrests are expected.
Police say at least 3 women were attacked overnight by the same man in South Tulsa. They say the suspect approached the women after they had started their cars at the Cedar Glade Apartments near 71st and Mingo. Officers say he smashed out their windows with a baseball bat. The first woman got away, but not before he rammed her car while driving a stolen vehicle. Police believe he did the same thing to 2 other female victims. So
what can you do to prevent crimes like that from happening to you? Channel 2's Natalie Sense joins us from the Cedar Glen Apartments where the attacks happened. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Erin. Well, one of the women was on her way to work. Another one had just gotten home from being with friends. One even just got home from being on vacation, and you can see all the glass on the ground still left behind from where the suspect smashed out one of their windows. Now, we've got a lot of people from Erin, you yourself, there's Julie, me, a lot of our co-workers, tons of people around town. Ladies, you don't need to be out between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., but if you do have to, like all of us, keys in hand. You can use them to gouge someone's eyes out if you have to. And here's some other tips that police say you really need to pay attention to, such as keys in hand, of course, like I just said. Now, give up your money if you are asked. Of course, it's not worth it. Throw it at them and run the other way. Now, another one is if they're beating on your car like this guy's was, get out of your car and give it to him. Chances are he wants the car a little bit more than he wants you. Scream. Do anything to draw attention to yourself. That can hopefully draw help as well. Now, if you are already in your car like one of these women was and being chased and rammed, simple answer, go toward the light. Stop at any convenience store or lit area you see and run like the wind. Police say the most important safeguard you can really give yourself is the gift of fear. Plan ahead in case something like this does happen to you, then you're at least somewhat prepared to react quickly.
If you have the mentality that it can't happen to me, a lot of times it will happen to you. If you have the mentality that it could happen to me, you stand a better chance if it does in fact happen to you.
Now, this guy is still out there. Of course, he is on the run, so if you do see him, you really need to watch out. He's described as being 5'3", about 135 pounds, a black man in his early 20s, wearing a red bandana over his face and possibly also having on a gray hat and a gray hoodie. Now, if you have any information at all, obviously call Crime Stoppers. As usual, you can you can always become anonymous. Reporting live in South Tulsa, Natalie Sense, Channel 2 Works for You.
Works for You weather's first forecast, certified most accurate.
Good morning, Erin and Scott.
All right, thank you, George. A man is hospitalized overnight after walking along Highway 75. It happened south of Glenpool. Troopers say the man was drunk when he wandered into traffic and was hit by a side mirror from a passing van. The highway was closed so a medical helicopter could land and take him to the hospital. He's in stable condition.
New on Channel 2 News Midday, a 5-year-old girl is now in protective custody after being left alone inside a hot car in a casino parking lot. Police in Oklahoma City arrested Levator Furman early this morning for child neglect. They say she left the little girl outside the Remington Park Casino and then went inside to gamble. Casino security called police.
We have new developments regarding a 5-year-old girl left on a school bus. The superintendent tells Channel 2 that bus driver has now been suspended. The incident happened in Kiefer on Monday afternoon. Rebecca Beatty says her daughter Carson never got off the bus. She says the driver waited only about 3 seconds before driving away. School officials later found Carson inside the bus, parked in the bus barn. Beatty says her daughter was there for 30 minutes. School officials argue it was no longer than 5 minutes and that the bus doors were open for her to get out. The driver has since agreed to no longer drive a school bus.
Well, this is new. You can now find Oklahoma daycare records online. It's one of the changes DHS made after the death of 2-year-old Joshua Mitten. Prosecutors say he died at a Tulsa daycare after the owner, Vicki Childs, taped his mouth and hands to keep him quiet during nap time. Childs is charged with Joshua's murder and previous violations. The boy's family says they were not aware of those violations. DHS has posted all daycare violations on its website. You can find a link on our website, KJRH.com.
A 9-year-old boy took the stand yesterday in the trial against his mother, who was accused of killing his older brother. Catherine Pollard is said to have smiled at her son, Justin, as he testified, sometimes wiping tears from her eyes. Justin Daggett told jurors about a trip he took with his mother, Catherine Pollard, and his brother, Logan, in 2002. He says Pollard took his brother into a man's house and returned without him. Justin says he never saw Logan again. Pollard and her sons lived in Tulsa before moving to Woodward.
2 of the 3 escapees from the Shawnee jail are back behind bars this midday. Joseph Henson was being held on a felony child abuse conviction. He was found last night at a motel in Wichita Falls, Texas. Brandon Farnell was arrested this morning at a home near Shawnee. Farnell was being held on weapons charges. Harley Scott is still on the run. He was being held for embezzlement. The men took off on Tuesday.
As we first told you here yesterday, Tulsa has a new police chief. Ron Palmer is returning to the job next week after a 5-year absence. Police union officials say Tulsa officers are glad to see a chief who is familiar with the department and familiar with the community. They say officers are looking forward to putting the turmoil of the past 2 years behind them and moving forward to serve the citizens of Tulsa under Palmer's leadership.
What the officers are looking forward to is a chief who will come in, give the department some guidance and direction, and get us off high center and get us moving forward in a positive direction.
Those 3 internal candidates who applied for the chief's position are now suing the city because they were passed over for the job. We are told that that lawsuit will continue.
If you live in Broken Arrow, you're not supposed to use your garden hose or wash your car at your house. The city has issued a mandatory water ban while crews repair a broken line. The problem is more complicated than first thought. Repairs that were supposed to begin this morning won't get started until tomorrow. Anybody caught using water outdoors in Broken Arrow could be fined up to $500. Coming up, does your house hold the key to unlocking a foul mood?
Plus, a man carves a special place in his heart and in a field for his wife.
Also, a pair of ridiculous robbers try and rip off a convenience store using a hula hoop and nakedness.
Don't forget, you can call our Call for Action Center. Give our volunteers a call if you have a problem. 748-1488.
Welcome back. Robbers try to fool a trooper, but they end up behind bars.
And that story tops this midday's 2 View on America.
We begin in Michigan. The trooper pulled over a Cadillac when it suddenly sped off. The chase began and then ended really quickly when the trooper used the pit maneuver to spin the Cadillac and crash it, shoving the back end, make it do a little spin around. By the way, both suspects were arrested and nobody got hurt.
In Missouri, thieves seemingly desperate for beer try to pull off one ridiculous scheme.
Basically, a guy coming in, standing there naked and doing a hula.
Okay, while the first guy did the hula, the second snuck in through the back to steal the case of beer. But it didn't work. The clerk, there he goes. They called police. A customer chased them out of the store, got their license plate number, and the two were caught 2 days later.
All right, a man decided to show some love to his wife with a special artwork in Wisconsin. There it is. Look, Beth, I love you. That's what he wrote right in the middle of a hayfield. Beth was taken to the field by tractor, the vehicle of love. Beth says she and her husband have been married 5 months and 14 days. So he didn't even do it for an anniversary of any sort, unless 5 months and 14 day anniversary. What is that, 10?
I don't know.
I haven't heard of it.
Well, coming up, is your house hampering your mood? A new study says that's not out of the question.
Also, a panel looking into the Virginia Tech shootings released its findings.
Could higher education be the best weapon in the war on drugs? We'll tell you when we come back.
And we'll also talk about your forecast, including if you'll need that umbrella along this Labor Day weekend. Stick around, details up ahead.
We have breaking news of a huge apartment fire right now in Florida. This is a live picture from a TV helicopter. That apartment manager there says utility crews were apparently working on a natural gas line when there was a massive explosion. That explosion sparked the fire. Right now, it's not clear if anybody was injured in that, if there's anybody in the building. We will, though, continue to follow this story, which is out of Miami, Florida.
Meantime, today, a panel commissioned by Virginia's governor will file a report reviewing the events surrounding the tragic shooting at Virginia Tech back in April. Kristen Dahlgren has those findings.
Richmond, Virginia.
Oklahoma's Republican congressional members have nothing to say so far about Senator Larry Craig's arrest. Larry Craig has been accused of making gestures towards an undercover officer inside a Minneapolis airport bathroom. A spokesperson for Mary Fallon, said yesterday the representative didn't want to comment. Senators Jim Inhofe and Tom Coburn and Representative Frank Lucas say the men were not available for comment. And John Sullivan's office did not respond to a request for comment either.
Do football fans want Michael Vick back on the field? A poll of pro football fans finds 58% of them do not want to see the suspended Atlanta Falcons quarterback play again in the NFL. 35% say he should serve time in prison. On Monday, Vick pleaded guilty to federal dogfighting charges. He's scheduled to be sentenced in December.
A seventh hole is being drilled into the earth to locate 6 miners trapped in Utah. Each hole to look for them reportedly cost $1 million. The miners went missing more than 3 weeks ago when it collapsed. A robotic camera will be lowered into the hole to search for the men. Their families hope if this 7th attempt does not find them, another will be made.
The Greek government is trying to help the thousands affected by its devastating wildfires. Those affected by the fires are rushing to claim an initial $4,000 payment from the government. In the last 7 days, those fires have caused at least 64 deaths and destroyed nearly 500,000 acres. The U.S. and France are also helping to put out the fires. Both countries are sending in air support.
Torrential rain swamped parts of Switzerland overnight. The heavy rains caused rivers to burst their banks. Houses and stores were flooded after barely drying out from heavy rains last week. Well, we haven't exactly had heavy rain so far, at least not in Tulsa, but there's been some rain in and around the area. For more on the forecast, let's go to George Waldenberger. Good morning to you, George.
Good morning. It's been a little bit. Scott and Aaron.
Thank you, George. Well, when you think of pastries for breakfast, you probably don't think of McDonald's, but the company is trying to change that. McDonald's Japan has opened new cafe-style restaurants that sell pastries and other items instead of burgers. Can you believe that one? The goal is to attract new customers. 15 McCafes opened in the Tokyo area yesterday, and instead of burgers and fries, customers can choose from croissants and soups and 10 types of coffee. The fast food giant plans to open more cafes like that across Japan next year.
Amy Winehouse's hit single Rehab is apparently real life.
And a former friend is accused of skipping out on the bill. It's all part of your Thursday morning scoop.
Troubled soul singer Amy Winehouse has canceled all of her scheduled U.S. appearances, including a gig on the MTV Video Music Awards. Her U.S. record label says the move is an effort to support the 23-year-old British soul singer's well-being. Winehouse has been battling drug and alcohol abuse.
Matt LeBlanc's former business manager says the former Friends and Joey star owes her at least $1 million. She filed a suit saying they signed a deal in 1994 that he pay her 15% of his income as long as he received money from either of those shows. She says the payments stopped in 2000, and LeBlanc is not responding to the lawsuit.
Sunday Night Football is going country. Country superstar Faith Hill will sing "I've Been Waiting All Day for Sunday Night" as the show's opening theme song. The song, set to a 1980s Joan Jett tune, was covered by pop star Pink last year for the show's first season.
Looking to catch a movie this holiday weekend?
If so, just ahead, how to give back-to-school shopping an environmental makeover. Plus, we'll also talk about those movies.
That's right, and controversy regarding Mexican trucks passing through the U.S. We'll be right back.
We have an update to that massive fire in Miami, Florida. You can see it right now. That is a live picture from our affiliate WSVN. Fire crews have confirmed at least 4 people have been burned in the fire, and a local station there is reporting that a baby is one of the victims. No word on exactly how serious the injuries are. The fire began about an hour ago while crews were working on a gas line. The apartment manager says that's when there was an explosion. Witnesses say debris was sent flying everywhere, including onto a nearby highway, I-95, and that has closed down at least a couple of the lanes there. Also want to let you know that a firefighter was also injured after falling off a ladder. We'll have more on this story coming up at 5 o'clock tonight.
Well, a man in Malaysia better have a good dentist after this latest stunt.
Yeah, that man, nicknamed King Tooth, tried to set a world record by pulling a 7-car train with his teeth. He pulled the 327-ton train more than 9 feet along the tracks. Organizers of the event expect Guinness to officially announce in a few weeks it was a record. King Tooth held the previous one by dragging a 287-ton train more than 13 feet. He did that back in 2003 and just had to do it again.
That makes my teeth hurt just watching.
No kidding. 300 tons in your mouth.
Bit off more than he could chew, huh?
I guess so. I don't understand why his teeth didn't pull out.
Really strong mouth.
Really strong gums.
I guess so.
I don't know.
No gingivitis there.
They're probably bent a little bit forward now.
Little buck teeth, right? Your forecast, your 7-day forecast. Chances for some isolated showers, not all that great, mainly in through early afternoon. Then Friday, 88 degrees, so a pretty nice day tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday into the low to mid 90s. Remember, Monday is Labor Day, still have time to make those plans. And on Wednesday, we'll see more clouds and a high temperature of 90 degrees.
That's a forecast you can sink your teeth into.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Good stuff. Thank you, George, and thank you for watching Channel 2 News Midday.
More news and weather at KJRH.com. Have a great day.